Bristol Rovers Football Club is a professional English association football club, based in Bristol, that compete in the Conference Premier, the fifth highest tier of English football. The team plays its home matches at Memorial Stadium, in Horfield, a suburb of Bristol, and is affiliated to the Gloucestershire County FA. The club was founded in 1883 as Black Arabs F.C., and were also known as Eastville Rovers and Bristol Eastville Rovers before finally changing its name to Bristol Rovers in 1899. The club's official nickname is the Pirates, reflecting the maritime history of Bristol. The local nickname of the club is the Gas, from the gasworks next to their former home Eastville Stadium, which started as a derogatory term used by fans of their main rival Bristol City but was affectionately adopted by the team. According to a survey conducted in December 2003, Cardiff City and Swindon Town are considered their second and third biggest rivals. Rovers were admitted to the Football League in 1920 and maintained their league status until relegation in 2014. They previously came close to losing their league status in 1939, when they were re-elected after finishing bottom of Division 3. And in 2002 when the team finished one league position away from relegation to the Football Conference. Their highest finishing positions were in 1956 and 1959, on both occasions ending the season in sixth place in Division 2, then the second tier of English football. Rovers were Football League trophy finalists in 1990 and 2007. History. Early years. The club was formed following a meeting at the Eastville restaurant in Bristol in September 1883. It was initially called Black Arabs F.C., after the Arabs rugby team and the predominantly black kits in which they played. This name only lasted for the 1883-84 season, and in a bid to draw more fans from the local area the club was renamed Eastville Rovers in 1884. The club played only friendly games until the 1887-88 season, when it took part in the Gloucestershire Cup for the first time. In 1892 the club became a founder member of the Bristol and District League, which 3 years later was renamed the Western League. In 1897 Eastville Rovers joined the Birmingham and District League, and for 2 seasons played in both this league and the Western League. At the beginning of the 1897-98 season, the club turned professional and changed its name to Bristol Eastville Rovers, and on February 17, 1899 the name was officially changed to Bristol Rovers. In 1899 Bristol Rovers joined the newly formed Southern League, where they remained until 1920, winning the league title along the way in 1905. Into the Football League, for the 1920-21 season, the Southern League teams were moved into the new Division 3 of the Football League, which became Division 3 the following season. They remained in this division for over 30 years, before winning the league, and promotion in the 1952-53 season. The team has won promotion on 3 other occasions, in 1973-74 from the 3rd Division to the 2nd Division, again in 1989-90 as Division 3 champions and also in 2006-07 to the Football League 1. The club has been relegated 5 times Euro in 1961-62, 1980-81, 1992-93, 2000-01 and most recently at the end of the 2010-11 season. The highest position in the football ladder achieved by Rovers at the end of season is 6th place in the second tier, which they did twice. Once in 1955-56, and again in 1958-59. The closest they came to the top flight was in 1955-56, when they ended the season just 4 points below the promotion positions. The lowest league position achieved by the club is 23rd out of 24 teams in the 4th tier, which has occurred twice. In the 2001-02 season, relegation from the Football League was narrowly avoided on 2 counts. Firstly, they ended just 1 league position above the relegation zone, and secondly the rules were changed the following season to increase the number of relegation places to 2, meaning that if Rovers had finished in this position 1 year later they would have been relegated. This position was matched at the end of the 2013-14 season, which this time saw Rovers relegated to the conference for the first time. Cup competitions. The only major cup competition won by Bristol Rovers is the 1972 Watney Cup, when they beat Sheffield United in the final. The club also won the Division 3 Cup in 1934 Euro 35, as well as winning or sharing the Gloucestershire Cup on 32 occasions. The team has never played in European competition. The closest Rovers came was when they missed out on reaching the international stage of the Anglo-Italian Cup in the 1992 Euro 93 season on a coin toss held over the phone with West Ham United. In the FA Cup, Rovers have reached the quarter-final stage on 3 occasions. The first time was in 1950 Euro 51 when they faced Newcastle United at St James Park in front of a crowd of 62,787, the record for the highest attendance at any Bristol Rovers match. The second time they reached the quarter-final was in 1957 Euro 58, when they lost to Fulham, and the most recent appearance at this stage of the competition was during the 2007 Euro 08 season, when they faced West Bromwich Albion. They were the first Division 3 team to win an FA Cup tie away to a Premier League side, when in 2002 they beat Derby County 3 Euro 1 at Pride Park Stadium. They have twice reached the final of the Football League trophy, in 1989 Euro 90 and 2006 Euro 07, but finished runners-up on both occasions. On the second occasion they did not allow a single goal against them in the competition en route to the final, but conceded the lead less than a minute after the final kicked off. Rivalries. Bristol Rovers' main rivals are city neighbours Bristol City, with whom they contest the Bristol Derby. This rivalry was deemed 8th fiercest rivalry in English football in an in-depth report by the Football Pools in 2008. The most recent encounter between the clubs took place on September 4, 2013, which saw Rovers beaten by City in a Football League trophy tie at Ashton Gate Stadium by a 2 Euro 1 scoreline. Other rivals are mainly other teams from the West Country, such as Swindon Town, Plymouth Argyle, Exeter City and Yeovil Town. In the past, rivalries also emerged with seven-side rivals Cardiff City known as the Seven-Side Derby. Rovers' most recent meeting against Cardiff was a League Cup match on August 26, 2009, which Cardiff went on to win 3 Euro 1. This game took place at the new Cardiff City Stadium and the Rovers' only goal from the game came from Steve Elliott. The last time Cardiff and Bristol Rovers were in the same league was in the 1999 Euro 2000 season. Bristol Rovers and Plymouth Argyle have played each other 88 times in the Football League and in National Cup competitions, with the better record belonging to the Pilgrims due to their 34 wins compared with Rovers' 28. One of the most recent encounters with Plymouth occurred on January 1, 2013, which Rovers won 2 Euro 1. Rovers were 2 Euro 0 up at half-time. The defeat for Plymouth against Rovers resulted in Plymouth sacking their manager Carl Fletcher and saw John Ward register his first win of his second spell as Rovers manager. The first time Rovers encountered Yeovil was a Football League trophy match which was played on October 31, 2001, which Rovers won via a penalty shootout. The most recent encounter was also in the Football League trophy which Rovers lost 3 Euro 0. Because of the close proximity many players have also represented both the clubs, for example Adam Virgo, Gavin Williams, Dominic Blizzard and Tom Parks. Yeovil have played in at least the division above Rovers since the 2010 Euro 11 season. Colours and badge. Bristol Rovers are known for their distinctive blue and white quartered shirts, which they have worn for most of their history. The current home kit consists of a light blue and white quartered shirt and white shorts, while the away kit is black and gold with the same colours as the trim. During the 2008 Euro 09 season a special third strip, which is black with a gold sash, and is a reproduction of the original Black Arab shirt, was used for a single match to celebrate the 125th anniversary of the club. The team began playing in black shirts with a yellow sash from their foundation in 1883 as Black Arabs F.C. until 1885, by which time they were called Eastville Rovers. For the next 14 years, until 1899, the team wore blue and white hooped shirts. These were replaced by black and white striped shirts until 1919. When Rovers were admitted to the Football League in 1920 they wore white shirts with blue shorts. These remained the team colours until 1930, when the colours were reversed to blue shirts and white shorts for one season. The blue and white quarters were first worn in 1931, when they were introduced to try to make the players look larger and more intimidating. Rovers continued to wear the quarters for 31 years until they were replaced by blue pinstripes on a white background. Over the next 10 years, Rovers went on to wear blue and white stripes, all blue, and blue shirts with white shorts before returning to the blue and white quarters in 1973, which have remained the colours ever since. During the 1996 Euro 97 season, Rovers wore an unpopular striped quartered design, prompting fans to refer to it as the Tesco bag shirts because of their similarity to the design used for the company's carrier bags. The change in design prompted the Trumpton Times fanzine to change its name to What, No Quarters? The black and gold shirts were also used as the away kit for the 2002 Euro 03 season, the club's 120th anniversary. In 2005, Rovers ran an April Fool's joke on their official website, stating that the team's new away strip would be all pink. Although this was intended to be a joke, a number of fans petitioned the club to get the kit made for real, and also suggested that funds raised through the sale of the pink shirts should be donated to a breast cancer charity. Although the pink shirts were never used in a competitive fixture, they were worn for a pre-season friendly against Plymouth Argyle in 2006. A pirate features on both the club badge and the badge of the supporters club, reflecting the club nickname of the Pirates. Previous club badges have featured a blue and white quartered design, based on the quartered design of the team's jerseys. Kit suppliers and sponsors: Rovers first used an official kit supplier in 1977, and the club's first official kit sponsor followed in 1981. Rovers' longest-running kit supplier is Aree, who supplied the club kits for 8 years. The club's longest-running kit sponsorship was from local company Cowlin Construction, who sponsored the club for a total of 11 years before ending the deal in 2009. The Cowlin deal came to an end during the late 2000s recession. Faced with the prospect of having no shirt sponsor for the 2009 Euro 10 season, the club came up with the idea of a raffle to raise the funds required. Tickets were sold at £1,000, with all 96 available being sold, meaning the club raised £96,000 for one season of shirt sponsorship, more than some Premier League clubs. First prize in the draw went to local training and recruitment company Engaged, whose logo appeared on that season's home kit. Second prize went to Bristol-based solicitors Stevens, Hewlett and Perkins, whose logo appeared on the away kit. The raffle proved so successful that the club replicated it for the 2010 Euro 11 season, with Smart Computers becoming the new home kit sponsors and Stalbridge Linen the away sponsors. Despite initially planning to return to the tradition form of sponsorship, the club again ran a sponsorship raffle for the 2011 Euro 12 season. McCarthy Waste and ITS becoming the new kit sponsors. The sponsorship raffle continues to this day, however, with the plans to move to UWE Stadium. Rovers hope to attract a major sponsor once again in the future. Stadium. Grounds. Padowna Euro 1883 Euro 1884, 3 acres Euro 1884 Euro 1891, Schoolmasters Cricket Ground Euro 1891 Euro 1892, Durdham Downer Euro 1892 Euro 1894, Ryder Gweaur Euro 1894 Euro 1897, Eastville Stadium Euro 1897 Euro 1986, Twitton Park Euro 1986 Euro 1996, the Memorial Stadium Euro 1996 Euro present. History: Rovers play their home games at the Memorial Stadium in Horfield, a ground they share with Bristol Rugby Club. The team moved to the MEM, as it is known informally, at the beginning of the 1996 Euro 97 season, initially as tenants but purchased it 2 years later, when Bristol Rovers were known as Black Arabs F.C. In 1883, he played their home games at Padown, Stapleton. The following year they moved to 3 acres, the precise location of which is not known, but is believed to have been in the Ashley Down area of Bristol, where they remained for 7 years. This was followed by brief stays at the Schoolmasters Cricket Ground, Durdham Down and Ridgeway. For the majority of their history, Bristol Rovers have played their home games at the Eastville Stadium, where they remained for a period of 89 years from 1897 to 1986. Financial problems led to the team being forced to leave Eastville, and they found a temporary home at Twitton Park, the home of Bath City. They stayed in Bath for 10 seasons, before returning to Bristol in 1996. Rovers also played 5 home games at Ashton Gate Stadium, home of rivals Bristol City, following a fire which destroyed the south stand of the Eastville Stadium on the night of the 16th of August 17, 1980. Rovers returned to Eastville in October 1980. During World War II, some friendly matches were played in Kingwood, and in their early history some games were played at Parsons Street, Bedminster. In January 2007 planning permission was granted for a new 18,500 capacity all-seater stadium to be built on the site of the Memorial Stadium. Building work was originally intended to begin late in 2007, but a number of delays set the project back first until the summer of 2008, and then until the summer of 2009. Further delays meant that by 2011, the club had begun exploring different options with regards to the future of the club's stadium. In June 2011, the club announced its intention to relocate the club to a new 21,700 all-seater stadium, to be built on land at the University of the West of England's Frenchay campus. To fund the project, the current site of the Memorial Stadium will be sold to supermarket Sainsbury's, who coincidentally already had planning permission to redevelop Ashton Gate Stadium. In September 2012, planning permission for the proposed UWE Stadium was granted by South Gloucestershire Council. In January 2013, subsequent planning permission was granted by Bristol City Council for the building of a Sainsbury's supermarket on the site of the Memorial Stadium. This paved the way for the commencement of the proposed UWE Stadium at Frenchay. Construction of the stadium is due to commence in the second half of 2014. Supporter culture. The team traditionally draws the majority of its support from North and East Bristol and South Gloucestershire. Many towns and villages in the surrounding area are also home to significant pockets of Rovers supporters. The nickname given to Bristol Rovers supporters is Gasheads. The gas was originally coined as a derogatory term by the supporters of Bristol Rovers rivals Bristol City, and was in reference to the large gasworks adjacent to the old Bristol Rovers Stadium, in Eastville, Bristol, which wafted the sometimes overpowering odour of town gas across the crowd. Gasheads was adopted as a name by a splinter group of Rovers supporters in the mid-1980s to early 1990s. The chant "proud to be a Gashead" spread to regular fans, and a fanzine was produced called The Gashead. The term Gasheads is now universally accepted within the English media and football fraternity as referring to Bristol Rovers supporters. After the club's relegation to Football League Two in 2001, the club designated the squad number 12 to the Gasheads to signify them as the club's 12th man in recognition of their loyal support. In 2000 another splinter group of supporters came together. Known as the Blackthorn Buccaneers, their aim was to celebrate the maritime heritage of the city of Bristol, while identifying strongly with the swashbuckling pirate on the club's 1999 badge. The Buccaneers very importantly preserve an old oral tradition which had once existed wholesale among the fans of the pre-gas era, that the pirate title had been inspired by both Bristol's link to the outlaw practice and by the publication of Robert Louis Stevenson's world-famous story, Treasure Island. What is so striking about this thought is, Stevenson had not only incorporated the famous old port of Bristol into his swashbuckling tale, but strikingly, the smash hit story itself had also been published the very same year as the club came into existence in 1883. The Buccaneers believe that the club gained its pirate nickname the following year when the club became known as Eastville Rovers. While some have claimed that Rovers is an Old Norse word for pirate, the word comes from the Old Dutch roven but was indeed used mainly to describe pirates. The Blackthorn Buccaneers have always believed that this eye-catching background, plus the colourful heritage of Bristol, has never been spiritually or commercially exploited properly. A concept which was already well in place during the club's early years. All fans who follow this belief are freely called the Buccaneers. The group celebrates its existence at most games by the waving of a striking pirate flag and the wearing of all sorts of piratical items, like rings and t-shirts. At big games in the past, Pirate costumes have been pressed into service to spotlight the club's glamorous, swashbuckling title and Bristol's rip-roaring, seafaring history. As far back as can be traced, the word Buccaneers itself was first used by Rovers supporters in an old fans song which dates right back to the 1950s. The group takes its name from the terrace formerly known as the Blackthorn End on which they stand at the Memorial Stadium. In the British film Hot Fuzz, Danny Butterman played by Nick Frost is seen wearing a Bristol Rovers shirt. Famous fans. The following is a list of famous people who are said to be Bristol Rovers fans. Geoffrey Archer, a Euro novelist and former MP who was imprisoned in 2001 for perjury. Jeff Barrow, a Euro instrumentalist in the band Portishead. Danny Butler, a Euro-British middleweight boxer. Glenn Catley, a Euro retired boxer, former WBC super middleweight champion. Terry Dix, a Euro former Conservative MP. David Gravenny, a Euro former chairman of the England Test selectors and Gloucestershire County cricket player. Lee Haskins, a Euro super flyweight boxer. Ian Holloway, a Euro former player and manager. Rod Hull, a Euro comedian famous for his emu puppet. Recorded a song called Bristol Rovers all the way in 1974 with the squad of that time. David Sid Lawrence, a Euro ex-England and Gloucestershire cricketer. Roni Size, a Euro musician and Mercury Prize winner. Peter Trigo, a Euro all-rounder for Somerset County Cricket Club. Sean Michael Varay, a Euro actor, most famous for BBC Three sitcom Pramface. Club song. The song which is synonymous with Rovers is Goodnight, Irene, which was written by Lead Belly. Opinions differ as to how this came about, but it is thought to have become popular in the 1950s when a version of the song was in the British charts. A Euro. The line "Sometimes I have a great notion to jump in the river and drown" a Euro seemed to be particularly apt when Rovers lost as the Bristol Frome flows alongside the old Eastville ground. Another theory is that it was sung at a fireworks display at the stadium the night before a home game against Plymouth Argyle in the 1950s. During the game the following day, Rovers were winning quite comfortably and the few Argyle supporters present began to leave early, prompting a chorus of "Goodnight Argyle" from the Rovers supporters. A Euro. The tune stuck and Irene became the club song. Another popular Bristol Rovers song is "Tote End Boys", which was written and sung by Ben Gunstone. The name Tote End Boys derives from the section of gasheads who stood in the Tote End terrace at Rovers' old home, Eastville Stadium. Players. Current squad, as of September 30, 2014, where a player has not declared an international allegiance, nation is determined by place of birth. The shirt number 12 is used by gasheads to represent the fans as the 12th man. For recent transfers, see 2014 a Euro 15 Bristol Rovers F.C. season. Out on loan, where a player has not declared an international allegiance, nation is determined by place of birth. Notable former players. This is a list of the most noted former players at Bristol Rovers Football Club, stating the period that each player spent at the club, their nationality and their reason for being listed. To be included in this list, a player must have made over 400 league appearances for the club, scored over 100 league goals or hold a club record. Note: all details from Byrne and J unless otherwise stated. Club staff. The current manager of Bristol Rovers is Darryl Clark. He joined Rovers in June 2013 as assistant manager and then took control of the first team 9 months later on March 29, 2014, when the previous manager John Ward changed roles to become director of football at the club. Managerial history. As of March 2014, 32 men have been appointed as a manager of Bristol Rovers Football Club, excluding caretaker managers. Bobby Gould, Jerry Francis and John Ward are the only men to have been given the job on a permanent basis twice, although Gary Thompson had a separate spell as caretaker manager before later being appointed permanently, and Phil Bater was caretaker manager on 2 separate occasions. Youth Academy. The Bristol Rovers Centre of Excellence is associated with the Bristol Academy of Sport, located at South Gloucestershire and Stroud College, which offers a college education along with football coaching. With notable coaches such as Graham Muirworthy and Des Bulpin working at Bristol Rovers. Current squad member Ollie Clark graduated from the academy to earn a professional contract. Perhaps the most successful former member of the academy is Scott Sinclair, who was signed by Chelsea in 2005 for an initial fee of £200,000, with further payments to the club possible, depending on performance. He currently plays for Premier League champions Manchester City. Chris Lines, who came through the Bristol Rovers Youth Academy, was sold to Sheffield Wednesday on August 10, 2011 for a fee of £50,000. Women's team. The club had a successful women's team, formed in 1998 as Bristol Rovers W.F.C. following a merger with Cabletel LFC. This merger came about as Bristol Rovers only had girls' teams up to the under-16 age group level, so when girls reached the age of 16 they were forced to leave the club. The merger with Cabletel meant that Bristol Rovers had a senior squad. The club's name was changed to Bristol Academy WFC in 2005 to reflect the increased investment from the Bristol Academy of Sport. Though sometimes still referred to by their former nickname, the Gas Girls, Bristol Academy WFC are no longer affiliated to Bristol Rovers. Achievements: Bristol Rovers Football Club has won the following honours: Southern Football League Division 1, 1904 Euro 05. Football League 3rd Division South, 1952 Euro 53. Football League 3rd Division, 1989 Euro 90. Football League 2 Playoffs, 2006 Euro 07. Football League 3rd Division South Cup, 1934 Euro 35. Watney Cup, 1972. Football League Trophy, runners-up are 2. 1989 Euro 90, 2006 Euro 07. Gloucestershire Cup, 32. 1888 Euro 89, 1902 Euro 03, 1904 Euro 05, 1913 Euro 14, 1924 Euro 25, 1927 Euro 28, 1934 Euro 35, 1935 Euro 36, 1937 Euro 38, 1947 Euro 48, 1948 Euro 49, 1950 Euro 51, 1953 Euro 54, 1954 Euro 55, 1955 Euro 56, 1958 Euro 59, 1962 Euro 63, 1963 Euro 64, 1964 Euro 65, 1965 Euro 66, 1967 Euro 68, 1973 Euro 74, 1974 Euro 75, 1981 Euro 82, 1982 Euro 83, 1983 Euro 84, 1984 Euro 85, 1988 Euro 89, 1989 Euro 90, 1992 Euro 93, 1993 Euro 94, 1994 Euro 95. Records, scorelines. Biggest league win, 7 Euro 0, November 29, 1952, 7 Euro 0, 7 Euro 0. Biggest cup win, competition proper, 6 Euro 0, qualifying, 15 Euro 1. Biggest league defeat, 0 Euro 12, players, most league appearances, 546 Euro Stuart Taylor, 1966 Euro 1980, most goals for club, 242 Euro Jeff Bradford, 1949 Euro 1964, most goals in a season, 33 Euro Jeff Bradford, 1952 Euro 53, highest transfer fee paid, £375,000 Euro Andy Tilson from Queen's Park Rangers, November 1992, highest transfer fee received, £2,600,000 Euro Barry Hales to Fulham, November 1998, other, record home attendance, 38,472 v Preston North End, FA Cup, January 30, 1960, references. Sources, Byrne, Stephen. J. Mike. Bristol Rovers Football Club Euro The Definitive History 1883 Euro 2003. Stroud, Tempus. ISBN A0-7524-2717-2. External links, Official website, Bristol Rovers F.C. On BBC Sport, Club News Recent results upcoming fixtures club statistics, supporters club website, Vital Gas, the odd link between Bristol Rovers and the singer Ledley.